Hello and welcome to the Divorce to Bliss podcast. Here you will learn all things related to healing from divorce, mind, body, and spirit, so you can create a beautiful new life filled with happiness. I'm Rachel Ruby, author of Divorce to Bliss, divorce coach, speaker, and attorney, and I'm so glad you found me here.
Hello. I wanted to address something that I have been receiving many phone calls about because it is something that is very right now. And that is that there is a war going on in the Middle East. The scenes are gruesome, and a lot of people have been calling me because they don't know how to deal with it. And so when we are going through a healing process, this job of learning how to deal with something that is an outside force, that is outside of us and outside of our control, is very, very challenging. However, as you know, and you may have felt, this affects us deeply. I was greatly affected by what happened and had to spend the entire weekend just really grounding myself. And I'm still doing that. I'm still processing. I'm still working on it. But here is something that I wanted to share because it is so vitally important when you are healing from divorce or really any trauma. If you are affected by things that are going on outside of you, which is normal, by the way, and okay, it's okay. You need to realize something that is so important, and it is the key to being able to continue to heal and continue your own journey without being brought down so much and feeling those horribly negative emotions that can make you spiral and feel that healing's not worth it, and even question, existential questions like where was God, and make you feel like you won't be able to get through this. So, and of course, all of those things affect you and how you live your life and the decisions that you make. And especially if you're taking care of others like children or the elderly, it becomes even harder. So I'm going to share with you a secret that I shared on my Instagram, but I wanted to go a little bit more into detail. This is how we get back on track with healing. This is the one way, and it sounds like something simple, but it's not. It may not sound simple, actually. And it is very difficult to get to this place that I am going to help hopefully direct you to get to so that you can continue in your healing. Here it is. In order to be able to focus on ourselves and our own healing so that we can create a new life for ourselves, so that we can rise to become the best version of ourselves, we need to get a little bit spiritual. And this isn't something to be afraid of because you've heard of what I'm going to say. We do this by inviting the love into our hearts. What does this mean? Let's talk about this. In practicality, love in our hearts means not only that we love others, but that we feel and act from this love within our heart. And this is one of the key elements to doing the work on healing after divorce or after trauma. And that is to learn to love yourself, learn to love others, learn to forgive, learn to accept, learn to move forward. And the only way we can do any of these things is by making a pledge that we are going to work on loving everyone, even the ones who do terrible things, even the ones who we may blame for destroying our lives, destroying our families. In order to ascend to that high level of consciousness where you can really make changes, not only within yourself, but within the collective, within the out there in the world, you need to learn to love 100% deeply from your heart in everything that you do. Now, there are a few caveats here. One, of course, is that we are only human. So we may make this pledge. We may even get to the point where we are putting it into action, right? And we are praying and we are hoping and we are envisioning this love, however you want to see it, whether it's a color, whether it is a warm, fuzzy thing, whether it's lights, focusing on whatever you want to focus on and all those people who you want to focus on, or on yourself, either any of those or all of them, really, in whatever your healing journey is. So that's one thing to remember, that we are human and we will have setbacks and we will fall off the wagon, so to speak. And that's okay. We just keep jumping back on. We keep jumping back on that horse, right? The second thing that we need to really think about and become aware of is that there is a domino effect in expressing the love. And it seems overwhelming at a time like this, at a time when there's war or wars going on in the world that may be affecting us in many ways, either through the images we see on mainstream media or on the internet, through people we may know in those places that are hurt or injured or perhaps died, through friends of friends who may know of others. I mean, there's some connection with all of us to what is happening outside of our own little bubble. And it could simply be the way it affects us to see other human beings treated inhumanely, right? So we have to realize that when we are trying to heal, and when we are trying to learn how to come from the love within our hearts so that we can heal, and not only heal so that we can live our lives and be the best version of ourselves, like I mentioned, we need to realize that it's a process, and it starts very small. And for some people, that little tiny bit that you put out there is so maybe frustrating, or maybe feels not worth it in the beginning, because you think, how can I, this little tiny pea in this huge universe, how can I affect anything? But you can. And here's how it works. When you act from the love within your heart, and you get to that point where you can do that, meaning you can forgive everyone, you can stop blaming everyone, you can realize that you have choices, and the choices are either to stay in the victim mindset where you're constantly blaming and you're constantly crying and feeling upset and thinking that you can't change anything and that you have no power within you. Or you can choose to say, you know what? I can do what I can do, and I can do it within myself and within my own little community. And here's how it works. You start within yourself. You start with those feelings of love toward everyone who needs it. And those are victims. Those are perpetrators. Those are people within your life who may not support you, who you may have decided to let go. Anybody who has done something that is considered a wrong, or who has done something that's considered right, doesn't matter. You need to love all of those people. You need to send your love out to everyone. And yes, I'm telling you to send your love out to the terrorists. A friend reminded me of that today. And I've been working really hard for the last few days on that. And it's been difficult and challenging. But when my friend mentioned this to me, I said, oh my gosh, that is exactly true. So I'm sharing that with you now. And you need to start small. Start within your heart. Start within your prayers. Start within writing, with your writings in your journal, with your conversations with others. And soon what happens is you start to love more. You start to get grounded more. You start to hate less. You start to be angry less. You start to be negative less. You start to come out of that victim mentality. And when you change what's inside your heart, guess what happens next? Those around you see that. They see your light shining. And they may not know what it is, but they want some of that. And hopefully in time, if they don't ask you, they may ask you what you're doing, or they may not, and they may figure out that everything is all about love. And so when that next person does this, and then they go out and spread it to someone else, pretty soon you have changes. You see changes in these little microcosmic sections of your community. And then those spill out into other areas, into other people, into other groups. And bit by bit, I know it sounds so impossible at times when we are so down and drowning in this negativity. But I promise you that every person that makes a little change, every person that starts to act from the love within their heart just grows and grows and grows and spreads and creates a brighter light. And so you may think this sounds silly, and you may not believe me, but this is what I teach people. This is how I healed from my own trauma, from my divorce. This is how I've helped many others heal. And this reminder that I was given today by my dear friend, is true. And I knew it, but I had to be reminded. And so now I am going back to do more work on spreading that love, growing that love in my heart, and not letting hatred or anger or negativity fill my being, because that is the only way I can make change. Yes, we are going to be living in a war for a while, several wars going on around the world. And yes, these things will affect us in some way, trickle down. So we need to start learning how to live with these things that are happening, and how to view them and how to feel the love, see the love, spread the love, because that is the only way the war will end. It's the only way that we will evolve, and it's the only way for you to heal. If you have any other questions, please reach out to me. I know this is a short video, but I'm going to leave it here, and I am more than happy to help you in many, many ways and many, many types of healing processes that you can utilize to set this in motion, because some people are having a really hard time, and that's okay. Know that that's okay. Know that you can change the way you feel inside. You may never get rid of the images or what you've seen or what you've heard or who you know may have been affected, but you can make a difference by spreading your love, by acting from love. And I wholeheartedly believe this 100%, because I have done it and it has worked for me. So please feel free to reach out to me if you need some more tips and help. I'm here to help you. Have a wonderful week, everybody.